Stevo,
Yo,
what's the word, my guy? It feels good to be back with you, man. It's been a minute.
definitely been a minute.
After a long summer, NBA season is finally on the horizon. We got even a preseason game on October 5th
Is it
overseas.
here? I was just about to
It's
say, is it here?
overseas. It's like
What
Dallas versus like San
what
Antonio
it
or
gonna
something.
be?
In like Bahi or I forget what they said. I haven't really looked too deep into it. I just know that when I was doing research for this episode, when I went to the NBA page, it showed that there was a game on that
Yeah,
day, but it's overseas. But man, what's good, man? Listen, the NBA season is on the horizon, and it's time for NBA Central to start talking about these divisions, brother.
for sure. It's time to break it down because hey, anything can happen.
You and me, we're gonna start with the Eastern Conference, and we're gonna discuss the Atlantic Division right after the intro.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
All right, welcome to another episode of NBA Central. It's your boy Big Bro, and we got Steve O Speaks in the building. The odd couple at it
Y-
again. I can't wait for the season to start, bro.
Yeah, it's time for it to start because hey, I thought we was gonna have a good season in another sport, but it's looking like so far ain't gonna be too much yet. So yeah,
But yeah, we're not here to talk about that. I'm in a good mood today, man. One of my favorite sports is back or on the horizon. We got 2K. 2K Day has already occurred. So once 2K drop, real basketball ain't too far behind. So we're gonna talk about the Atlantic Division. Like Boston is the cream of the crop there. Philly right behind them, and then you also got the Knicks, the Nets, and the Raptors. All of these teams were playoff teams last season, but
hmm
it's been a lot of movement that's occurred in this division with Marcus Smart being jettisoned to Memphis and Kristaps Porzingis now playing with the Boston Celtics. You don't know what's going to happen with James Harden. You don't know what's going to happen with a young next team. Can Thibodeau keep the Knicks relevant in the Eastern Conference? And then you got a Toronto Raptors team that lost Fred Van Vliet. And then we don't know what's going to happen with Pascal Siakam. Couple of coaching changes as well peppered in there. Let's get into it, man. How you feeling about the Celtics? Now, back ago, they had the penciled in at maybe 53 wins. That's the over under on the Celtics this season.
yeah, yeah. They finished what 57-25 last year. So we all, like you said, we all know the big moves. That big move, I would say it was a big move. Marcus Smart going over to Memphis, and then them bringing over Kristaps Porzingis over from Washington. Now, with this move, I say it's either going to be one or two things. It's going to be a big impact for losing Marcus Smart, and they might take a little drop from like you said they projected around 53 wins. Now they won 57. So if I would say if it goes left, like I might think it can be. I won't think it's drastic, but I can see it becoming like the projection said, like a 51, maybe 50, yeah, like 52 and below, like around, like I say between 45 to 53 wins could be the left part of this deal, or it could be pretty much the same, maybe a little bit better. They did need some more size on the at the four position or the five position, what position he's going to play. But he's also going to bring some more shooting, which they need, which kind of fits the comp set that they coach want to run. They shot the most threes they done in a while, especially with this current regime of players that they have now. So yeah, it can either go two of those ways. I'm more leaning more on them struggling just a slight little bit because they lost one of their main dudes. That was the dude that I feel like is the reason why they made it to the finals. Because, like you said, they had that whole little shaky start to beginning of the year. They had the team meeting. Who started the team meeting was Marcus Smart. He brought them together. He challenged everybody, and the result of that was going to the finals. And you lost your main point guard, your main leader, and I think they're gonna take a blow from that.
I agree with you. Losing to the Miami Heat. was shocking.
Yeah.
They definitely shouldn't have lost. And Jalen Brown got his bag, but I wonder if he got a stronger left hand. He shouldn't. He should have did everything left handed this offseason. He needed to be waving left handed, eating
For
his
real.
donuts left handed, thumbs up left handed. Nothing else, bro. Like everything needs to be left handed with this guy because he was clearly exposed in the Eastern Conference Finals this
Yeah.
past season, and he did earn his contract. Jason Tatum struggled a bit throughout the playoffs, but had that epic comeback in which the next team that we're going to discuss, the 76ers, had their meltdowns. Boston rose to
Mhm.
the occasion, but they just couldn't overcome a very motivated Miami Heat squad. So looking at the Boston Celtics roster, man, like we already know the big names with Jason Tatum, Malcolm, and then we got Jalen Brown. But Malcolm Brogdon quietly had like almost like a 6 man of the year season last year, didn't he?
Yeah, kind of. But I think the only thing that hurt him really was because he was hurt majority. Not, I won't say majority. Nice portion of the season. And he did come back and be somewhat of an impact, slightly. I think he came back very late, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he had a nice little run, but that injury definitely helped. I mean, helped not get that 6 man a year validation that we thought he could get.
Well, he played 67 games last
Dude,
season.
I felt like it was a portion of games he missed that was very key.
I mean, 67 games, 15 points, 4 assists, shot 45% from three and almost 50% from field. So he had a pretty solid season coming off the bench. And then you got now Williams was hurt a lot,
Yeah,
Robert
he definitely
Williams,
was.
and the
And
addition of
and he
Chris.
wasn't just getting put in, to be honest. I had to put that
Yeah,
in there
that's
too.
true, especially in the playoffs. And the addition though of Kristaps kind of takes a lot of pressure off of Al Horford, old man Al Horford.
Yeah,
Um,
he was definitely getting exposed.
oh yeah. But old man, how Al Horford, 93-year-old Al Horford will definitely give you a bucket in
Yeah,
the momentum kind of way, and
yeah.
that's his role there. And he's also a locker room guy as well. So so the Celtics are slated to be over under at least right now 53 wins, and of course that changes depending on what happens, so on and so forth. And you're going with the under and just slightly with the under. And
Yeah,
I'm
slightly.
gonna go. I'm gonna go even. I think they're gonna get 253 wins and kind of
Yeah,
pan
I'm
out
kind of
there.
leaning more even, more than anything. To be honest, yeah, I'm just saying like I don't expect it to be a big impact. I just know the impact will be felt.
Yep, yep. And the 76ers, man, talk about impact. They have a new coach. They got rid of Doc Rivers. They don't know who their de facto ball handler is going to be. Is it going to be James Harden to start the season to go along with Tyrese Maxey, or is James Harden going to be gone? Do they swing a trade for Damian Lillard, who's angling to go to the Heat, but I don't think he'd have any complaints going to play with Joel Embiid. So just looking at this squad last season, they finished second in the Atlantic Division, and they're in flux right now. Like they don't know what direction they're going in. Patrick Beverly's there now to kind of pick up some of the slack. But Joel Embiid has his hands full, man, and Tobias Harris is like maybe a third or fourth option as opposed to a strong two. Tyrese Maxey's going to have to take a step forward this season. So what are you thinking about the Philadelphia 76ers?
I'm gonna be honest. I think they might start going downward, a downward spiral towards this year if they keep the current. If they keep James Harden, I'm not even gonna say current thing. If they keep James Harden, that's only gonna do worse for you in that aspect. To be honest with you, there's so many questions surrounding this team that yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like, I like the coach. I loved what he did in Toronto. I love what he did. We also know he ain't the greatest coach when it comes to the offensive side of the ball all the time. But I just don't know if he's ready. He don't know. I don't know if he really got himself into like
Going
dealing
to Philly,
with
a town
Joe.
like that?
Yeah, I'm not even to bring up the city. Just dealing with Joe and James Harden it can be a headache all on its own.
I
Then
think
you
James
got
Harden's gonna be out of there. I don't see him.
I
He's thrown
and
down
that and
regardless.
once that changes my whole thought process. If they get rid of him, I feel like they can possibly save this team and still be similar in a similar position they have been the last few years. But if you decide, excuse me, if you decide to come in and keep him in, trying to work things out, I just don't see. I really believe that he will cause this team to go a couple spaces down. Like they might be around the Atlanta Hawks in the 5 and 6 division instead of the 3 and 2s and ones.
Well, last season they won 54 games. And they finished second in the East. Well,
Third,
or they finished third in the East and second in their division. But I don't know, man. Like, there's no real over under on them right now because everything's so up in the air
for
about what's
real.
going to happen. Because James Harden, for all the trouble that he is, he did have an All Star caliber season last season, especially with the assists, and he did show up at least a little bit in the playoffs.
Two
Two,
games.
two out of the 7 games, he was the reason why they even made it to 7 games. To be honest, where to be frank, Joel Embiid disappeared, especially in Game 6 and Game 7.
They both did.
Yeah, and but one of them's the MVP, and another one was not. He's nothing like his MVP, years. So it's on Joel Embiid to not be satisfied with obtaining what he was seeking more than a championship. If I want to be frank about it, like honestly, it seems like he was chasing the MVP harder than he was chasing the Larry O'Brien over these last 3 or 4 years. So now that he's gotten the MVP out of his system, does he have what I would like to see as an insatiable desire to obtain that Larry O'Brien at the end of the year? Like, is he capable of taking over down the stretch when he needs to in big game moments as far as the playoff is concerned? Like, obviously, the regular season you can do what you want to do, but that Game 6 performance in which he only took one shot in the last 2 or 3 minutes, that Game 7 performance where he didn't impose his own will, those have to be a thing of the past, and he needs to go out there and leave everything on the court.
Yeah, especially for the money you get. Both all these dudes getting like honestly, you got to come in like next year. You got to come out swinging, and you if you go down, you better go down swinging, because if we see a performance like this again, you can quickly get out that you're one of the best bit men conversations real quick, because they
That
don't mean nothing if you're not winning the big thing. And it's already a low amount of dudes that you can honestly put in that position as one of the best centers in this league.
and
So
to
go
be
ahead.
honest, Joker got his, and Giannis got his. So it's really down to Embiid now, and there are no more excuses. Like obviously losing a coach like Doc Rivers, having turnover on the roster, not
Getting
knowing
them
what's
fired.
yeah, and
I'm
well,
gonna say,
that was a lot to do with Harden as well. But I think that's just a whole different conversation. And speaking of that,
mhm.
we were talking earlier, right, about James Harden and him not flying with the team during the playoffs, and how that made Doc Rivers and teammates feel in the Miami situation, because you know how James Harden is. He got to go to the Strizzy Clizzies and take care of business and go throw his money around and live that
That
nightlife.
man swear he AI.
Something wrong with him though, because AI played his hardest until he was out the league. Even when he didn't want to come off the bench and such. So, and the AI right there. Yes, sir.
And for sure,
Uh
that's clean.
Yeah, yeah. But all right, man. So we knocked out these two. We're gonna do another episode with the remaining teams in the division, the Atlantic Division. You still got the New York Knicks. We're wondering how Tom Thibodeau
Yeah, that's a whole
is gonna.
separate. That's a whole separate video because we they get yeah.
And then we got the Brooklyn Nets, a young team that's capable, with Dinwiddie as like the captain of that ship, along with, of course, the man from Phoenix, uh, Bridges.
Bridges.
Yeah, Bridges, and then Cam Thomas as well.
Yeah, you're right.
Out Mikal Bridges, right?
Mikhail Bridges. Yeah.
Yeah, so those guys out there, and then you got the Toronto Raptors, who you can't really kind of figure out what's going to happen, because it's another one of those young squads that's capable of winning, competing for maybe a play-in tournament again. But they got a new coach out there as well, and
Hmm.
they lost their point guard in Fred VanVleet. So we appreciate y'all for rocking with us over here on NBA Central. It's your boy Big Bro with Stevo Speaks. Don't forget to rock with the rest of the Chi-Town sports family with Chicago Bulls Central, Bears Central, White Sox and Cubs Central, Sky Central, Blackhawks Central, and then of course we got the Shot Bulls podcast with the Cognac Boys. We appreciate y'all, man. We really do. All the love and support, and we're gonna get at y'all next time. Stay tuned for part 2 of the Atlantic Division preview.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.